How does a company worth $50 billion at its peak selling stationary bikes that go nowhere for $2,000 end up laying off 2,800 people? In just 12 months, they lost 76% of their market value. That's $40 billion gone. This isn't a story about bikes. This isn't even a story about the pandemic. This is a story about how even the smartest companies confuse what they make with what they are. And here's what's fascinating. Most analysts get this story completely wrong. They'll tell you Peloton failed because of a mismatch between supply and demand, or a finite market for expensive bikes. They'll say Peloton should have done better user research, improved their UI, made their bikes more accessible. That's like suggesting Netflix should have made better DVDs or Tesla should have made cheaper gas cars. It completely misses the point. Let's talk about it. Think about this for a second. During a pandemic, when every gym on the planet was shut down, Peloton had everything going for them. Perfect timing, check. Perfect product, check. Perfect market conditions. People literally couldn't leave their homes. Their subscribers doubled. Sales jumped 66%. They literally couldn't make bikes fast enough. People were waiting months just to give Peloton their money. You couldn't write a better success story setup if you tried. While Peloton was busy selling bikes and experts were busy suggesting better bike features, they all missed something crucial. Something that has nothing to do with pedals, screens, or subscription models. During lockdown, what were people really craving? When you're stuck at home staring at the same four walls, you're not looking for an exercise bike or better bike features or improved UI. You're desperate for connection. When the world feels out of control, you're hungry for achievement. When everyone feels isolated, you're searching for community. This is what everyone gets wrong. They think Peloton's problem was not understanding their market's limits. The real problem? They accepted those limits instead of creating an entirely new market. Look at Red Bull. They sell sugar water in a can, but they own human performance so completely that they can drop a man from space and it makes perfect sense. Nike doesn't just sell shoes, they own athletic achievement. Every time an underdog succeeds, Nike owns that story. But Peloton, they just sold bikes, really expensive bikes. So let's talk about what Peloton could have been. The pioneers of social transformation, the leaders for connected wellness, the architects of community-powered achievement. Instead, they followed the experts' advice. They competed in the home exercise equipment category. And guess what happens when you compete in an existing category? You become a feature war, a price war, a race to the bottom. Now, while experts were suggesting Peloton make more compact bikes or non-connected options, essentially competing better in the existing category, companies like Tesla and Airbnb were showing us what's possible when you create your own category. Tesla didn't try to make better cars. They created the category of sustainable transportation. Airbnb didn't compete with hotels. They created the category of community-driven hospitality. But Peloton, they listened to all the experts telling them to make better bikes. And that's exactly where they went wrong. Now, some people will say, but wait, wasn't this just about the pandemic ending? People going back to gyms? That's missing the point entirely. Netflix didn't fail when theaters reopened. Zoom didn't collapse when offices opened. Why? Because they own something bigger than their products. They own concepts in our minds. In 2020, Peloton couldn't make bikes fast enough. By 2022, they were halting production entirely. Think about that shift from we can't build them fast enough to please stop, we have too many in just 18 months. This positioning mistake cost Peloton everything. Not because they made bad bikes, not because the pandemic ended, but because when you position yourself as a product company, you live and die by the product. So what's the lesson? Here's what every founder and business leader needs to understand. Your competition isn't other companies making what you make. Your market isn't defined by what analysts say it is. Your limitations aren't set by what experts think is possible. So what's your real competition? It's your own limited thinking about what you could be. Your real market, it's the mental territory you could own. Your real limitation, it's accepting conventional wisdom about what's possible. Here's a simple test. Take your product or service, now remove it entirely from your pitch. What are you really selling? What transformation are you enabling? What concept could you own? Because remember, Peloton had the perfect product at the perfect time. But perfect products don't save you when your positioning is perfectly wrong. Think about your business right now. Are you selling products or are you owning concepts? Are you competing in categories or are you creating them? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to learn what you think Peloton should have done differently.